bundles just got better with 3 new apps. Watch more with PlayGlow. Cheer more with Sportsmax. Read more news with Loop. Listen more with D-Music. Plus extra data. It's simply more bundled together. 51 gigabytes for 7 days for only $2,000. Live the experience with Digicel. Activate today on the My Digicel app.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
With you, Evening Newscast, I am Joshua Van Sleckman. Thank you for joining us. Just last week, ExxonMobil released its Scope 3 emission data for 2019. The first time the company has published such data after coming under pressure from its investors. The numbers immediately gave a very clear picture of why the company has hidden them for so long. Exxon's Scope 3 emissions are higher than any other Western oil company, according to data from Bloomberg. The emissions are more than many countries and amounts to about the same as the entire nation of Canada. In order for Guyana to see success with its local content policy, there must be mechanisms in place to ensure regular reporting, review, and disclosure of the achievements made in this regard by oil companies. Additionally, the regulators chosen to keep an eye on these operators must be held accountable for their shortcomings in managing this critical component of the industry. According to former Minister of Foreign Affairs and now Advisor on Borders, Carl Greenidge, these were just a few of the perspectives which were engaged and enjoyed concessions during the engagement held with stakeholders by the Local Content Panel. The panel was established last year by President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali to comply recommendations on the best provision for Guyana's local content policy. The 6 GCOM commissioners get approximately $450,000 after tax as a monthly stipend for their participation at statutory meetings. In addition, that figure remains the very same even if the commissioners decide to absent themselves or walk out of meeting. Sources from within the commission revealed that statutory meetings are held on average 3 times a month, but these meetings will increase as the commission gears up for the local government elections. The issue of commissioners being paid even after walking out of a meeting was raised before the trade unionist Lincoln Lewis, who called for a practice to be stopped. Equatorial Guinea has shown a firm hand when it comes to ensuring the participation of locals in the value chains of its petroleum sector. This is evidenced by the way it dealt with one company, which it found was not adhering to its rules for local content. When the country determined this infraction was being committed, it expelled the company from its oil industry. Equatorial Guinea had established a national content regulation of hydrocarbons law in 2014, which mandated preference for locals in contract awards, local content clauses in all contracts with multinationals, and capacity building provisions. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony yesterday have revealed that over 500 children have been tested positive for the COVID-19 in Guyana since it recorded its first case in March of 2020. He stated that majority of them were found through contact tracing. He explained that children are generally asymptomatic, meaning they show no symptoms of the virus, making it harder to discover those cases. Meanwhile, in some tragic news, a 31-year-old minibus driver was killed on Tuesday following a 3-vehicle smash-up along the Suzaik-Linden Highway. The dead man has been identified as Uriel Reynolds, a father of 1 from Pashadnagar, Georgetown. The incident, according to police, occurred around 19 hours 15. Investigators reported that a car heading west along the highway collided with a pickup which was heading east. The driver of the pickup then lost control and slammed head-on into the minibus. Reynolds was driving at the time. The aftermath was described as horrific. Donald Trump has become the first president in U.S. history to impeach twice after being charged with the incitement over the last week's deadly storming of Congress. The House of Representatives accused Mr. Trump of encouraging violence with his false claim of election fraud. He now faces trials in the upper chamber, the Senate, but not before he leaves office next Wednesday. Senators can vote to bar him from ever holding public office again. Junior Public Works Minister Deodat Indar has raised questions as to how Brian Tiwari's BK International Incorporated got permission for a deadline extension on the $124 million sea defense project at Andrews on the Essequibo coast from the previous Public Infrastructure Minister David Patterson, who no longer held that position. BK's CEO Brian Tiwari explained as to why works were still being conducted for the past projects. BK gave a similar account as his chief engineer Ganesh Shaw, who stated that it was Patterson who instructed the company to focus their efforts on fixing the bridge sea defense at Maikoni, East Bank, Demerara. Quick response by the Brickdam police resulted in a capture of two cutlass bandits who on Tuesday reportedly attacked, beat and robbed a 19-year-old teacher in the Stabrook Market area. According to police, three cutlass bandits robbed Yogeshwar C. Mangal around 20:45 hours. In the process, the men took away his haversack and his Samsung phone valued $71,000. The men also carted off with his AirPods. Ranks responded immediately to his report and cornered two of the bandits on Lombard Street, while the third reportedly got away with the victim's phone. And with that, we've come to the end of your evening newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Let's remind you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up the copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. I am Joshua Van Sleckman. Thank you for joining us. Reminding you that coming up at 19 hours 20, it will be time for Guyana's Oil and You with senior journalist Kiana Wilberg. We will now bring to you a rebroadcast of the National Outlook with G.H. Gilal, after which we'll bring to you a commentary by Kaieteur News publisher Mr. Glenn Lal.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands